All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to give a special thanks to Isle Sabag. Thank you so much, my man, for your consistent support of this channel. I cannot thank you enough for all that you've done. Thank you. And also to the Real Siberius, another consistent contributor of this channel. And when I say contributor, I don't mean just super thanks and all that, although you are very good at that. I mean contributing meaningful comments, watching the videos consistently. That's what I mean. And I sure do appreciate you. In this video here, something I find kind of funny, which is why we do the switch up for LeBron James. Why is his standard lowered? He's just like any other guy, right? How many times have we heard, well, of course the Bulls won. They had the best team, right? Well, let's see how common it is for the best team, the best record in the NBA to win the championship. It should happen all the time, right? The way everybody talks, to run through the regular season as the best team and then to do it in the playoffs. That should be very common, the way these people talk. So let's take a look. I didn't do the 50s, the 60s, because that was dominated by the Minneapolis Lakers, the Boston Celtics. They had the best records year in, year out. But outside of that, when you get after the 72 Lakers, it gets very sketchy. Having the best record guarantees you nothing. In 1973, the Boston Celtics were 68-14. They did not win the championship. They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Knicks in 7 games. Now, John Havlicek separated his shoulder. That's a very good reason why they didn't make it. But that's part of it. Durability. To be able to be that durable through a regular season rigor and then do it through the playoffs and go through all that comes with that. It's not easy, no matter what these idiots on television try to tell you. The Knicks were the actual champion. That's the team that actually beat Boston. In 74, Milwaukee, far and away the best team in the NBA. 59-23, Oscar Robertson's last season. They got all the way to the finals to Game 7, and they got beat by Boston. Dave Cowens outplayed Kareem, not by a lot, but the stats say he outplayed him. In 75, Boston's got the best record. They did not win it. They got beat by Washington in the Eastern Conference Finals 4-2. And then they got beat by Golden State, who was the actual champion. In 76, Golden State, the team that just won it, they had the best record. But then they got beat in the Western Conference Finals in 7 to Phoenix, a big upset at that time. But Boston ended up winning the championship. 77, the Lakers were predicted to win it. They didn't. Portland did. In 78, Portland was predicted to win it. They didn't. Washington did. In 79, Washington has the best record, number 1 overall seed. They got beat in 5 in the finals to Seattle. 1980, Boston. They got the best record, number 1 overall seed, 61-21. They got beat in the Eastern Conference Finals to Philly in 5 games. The Lakers won it. In 81, again, Boston, the best record. They tied Philly, but they had the head-to-head, so they're the number 1 overall seed. That's what I'm going for here, the number 1 overall seed. Boston won the championship as the number 1 overall seed in 1981. That was the first team to do that in 9 seasons. 82, Boston was 63-19. They got beat in 7 games by Philly. I think it says the Knicks there, but it's really Phillies who beat them. Typo. But the Lakers ended up winning the championship. They beat Philly in the finals. In 83, Philly was the number 1 overall seed. They won it. In 84, Boston was number 1 overall seed. They won it. In 85, Boston, number 1 overall seed. They got beat in 6 in the finals to the Lakers. In 86, Boston, number 1 overall seed. They won it. In 87 and 88, the Lakers were the number 1 overall seed, and they won it. One of 2 teams on this list to do that back-to-back. And they barely did it in Game 7 in the finals in 88 against Detroit. Barely. 89, Detroit number 1 overall seed, they won. 1990, the Lakers were the number 1 overall seed. They didn't win it. It was Detroit. 91, Portland was the number 1 overall seed. They didn't even make it to the finals. They got upset in the Western Conference Finals. The Bulls won it. The Bulls had the best record, number 1 overall seed in 1992. They won the championship. In 1993, it was Phoenix was the number 1 overall seed. They got beat in the finals by the champion Bulls in 6 games. In 1994, this one is one of the crazy ones. Seattle, the number 1 overall seed, 63-19. They got upset in the first round by Denver in 5 games. Houston, the eventual champion. 1995, San Antonio's got the best record in the NBA, number 1 overall seed at 62-20. They got beat by the eventual champion Rockets in 6 games in the Western Conference Finals. 1996-1997, the Bulls, number 1 overall seed, won the championship both seasons. One of 2 teams on this list to do that. Back-to-back number 1 overall seed championships. 1998, Utah is the number 1 overall seed. Even though they tied the Bulls at 62-20, they had the head-to-head tiebreaker, but the Bulls beat them in 6 games in the finals. 99, the Spurs. They also, I think, had a tiebreaker with Utah, but they were the number 1 overall seed. They won the championship. 2000, the Lakers, number 1 overall seed. They won the championship. 01, San Antonio, number 1 overall seed. The Lakers won the championship. In 02, it was Sacramento, number 1 overall seed. The Lakers beat them. 03, San Antonio won the championship as the number 1 overall seed. 2004, Indiana, number 1 overall seed at 61-21. They got beat in the Eastern Conference Finals by the eventual champion Detroit. 05, Phoenix. They got beat, Western Conference Finals. 06, San Antonio. They got beat by Dallas in the semifinals in 7. 07, Dallas. They got beat in the first round and took the worst loss in NBA history in the first round of 42-40 Golden State. San Antonio, the eventual champion. 2008, Boston, a very rocky road. People kind of remember this a little different than I do. If you're a LeBron fan, you're going to pump up 2008 Boston. But what I remember is they were 1 loss away from the biggest upset in NBA history. Had they lost Game 7 in the first round against 37-win Atlanta, that would have been the worst loss in NBA history. Actually, I'm sure the Mavericks were rooting for Atlanta. So then Boston would be the owners of that. Atlanta won 37 games. Boston won 66 games. That is a 29-win disparity, which Dallas had a 25-win disparity over Golden State, which is the biggest upset in NBA history. But they were that close, 1 win away. And then the next round against 45-win Cleveland, they got taken to 7 again. They needed 6 to beat Detroit, and they needed 6 to beat the Lakers. All those top 75 players that Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe go on and on about. They sure needed a lot of games to pull that championship off. 26 games to win that championship. 2009, Cleveland Cavaliers, number 1 overall seed. What happened to those guys?
Pressure, but got the ball to Gortat. And here's Mo Williams firing one.
And small!
Well, look at it. It appeared he got it off. From the back court, Mo Williams.
To Gortat. How many times do you think he and LeBron, after practice, throw up these kind of shots? And for Cleveland, after giving up a dunk to Gortat.
So it is obviously a 3-point play. The officials checking the videotape. It is a 63-48 lead for the Cavaliers. It out to Turkoglu. Lewis for 3. Yes! Orlando has taken a 1-point lead with the toss. Here it is. Williams in one motion got it off and went back rim. The Orlando Magic have defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 107-106.
So you're telling me Mo Williams hits a 3-quarter shot to put you up by 15 points at the half, and you squander it and get beat by 1 point at home in game 1? Wow. Well, I'm sure they bounce back. It's only 1 game.
The final seconds. The Orlando Magic have defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6, and they are headed to the finals for the first time since 1995. The Magic eliminating LeBron James and the Cavs, the team with the best record in the NBA.
Oh, snap. I guess not. I guess Cleveland just couldn't get it done. They couldn't win in Orlando. They took 3 losses in Orlando and that loss in game 1 at home, and they blew a 15-point lead. Wow. If only LeBron was stacked full of top 75 players, because that's what it takes to win. You got to have top 75 players. You cannot win without them. Bounce back year in 2010. Cleveland was the number 1 overall seed. The series was tied 1-1. They didn't have a very good showing in game 2. But how'd they do in game 3 at Boston?
Poor performance in game 2 as the Cavs take apart the Celtics' complete destruction in what was going to turn into be the worst home playoff loss in Celtics history. They'll lose by 29 and take a 2-1 lead, the Cavs will.
Wow, that's a big win. That's a blowout. They're up 2-1 now. Let's see what Shannon Sharp thinks about that. Surely he thinks like, well, of course, Cleveland won 61 games. They were the favorite, right?
He said the C's didn't fear LeBron because we didn't feel he could beat our 5. He's talking about 3 first-ballot Hall of Famers: Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. Rondo is a fringe. We will remain to be seen. And they're talking about beating a 24, 25-year-old LeBron James. Now, that was Skip. Think about this. It was KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Kendrick Perkins, Tony Allen, and Rasheed Wallace came off the bench, going against LeBron James, Mo Williams, Antoine Jameson, Tony Parker, 37-year-old Shaq, and Anderson Varejao.
Was supposed to win an NBA championship, and the year the city of Cleveland was set to celebrate maybe their first title since '64 is going to end in the second round. Varejao puts up a 3, won't go, rebound Garnett, and that's it. The Boston Celtics with the huge upset. They advance to the conference finals. And LeBron James' season is over. Is his career in Cleveland over?
Oh, that's really weird. Yeah, I mean, how can you compete? 3 top 75 players. That puts the nail in your coffin. Of course, back in 2008, they knew all those guys were going to be Hall of Famers, and that's what you measure it by. You're like, look, coach, that's 3 Hall of Famers over there. We can't compete with that. What do you mean? You guys just won by 30 points on their floor. What do you mean you can't compete? You're the number 1 overall seed in the NBA. You're the favorite to win this thing. Oh, coach, you're talking 3 Hall of Famers over there. All the talking heads say we got no chance. But yeah, that's what happened. Blow out Boston in game 3, smash them, and then you squander 3 straight games. Don't tell me Cleveland didn't have a team good enough to beat them. Oh, Anderson Varejao, Mo Williams. What's wrong with that? Those guys are all-star, all-defense. Shaq was coming off an all-NBA season. Anton Jameson is a viable number 2 or even number 3 option. I mean, you got Mo Williams, Anton Jameson for your number 2 and your number 3 on offense. That's solid. And then you got Varejao, Ilgauskas. I know Shaq wasn't really great on defense, especially when he was older. But come on, you easily got enough to get to the finals. How on earth did you win 61 games then? How? Or 66 games in 09? How? How'd you do it then? If all your teammates were all bums, how'd you do it? How are you the number 1 net rated team in 09? How? How'd you go 26-4 against the West? How'd you do it? 39-2 at home in 09. And if you count the playoffs, they won the first 2 rounds. They swept out both rounds in the playoffs like it was nothing. Went through those teams like they were butter. They were 43-2 at home. You're up 15 at halftime of game 1. Who would have been the idiot to bet money saying Cleveland was going to lose that series? Come on. No way. They just choked it away, plain and simple. LeBron's numbers, they don't show the turnovers and the untimeliness of it all. Garbage points, a lot of that stuff. So moving on, 2012, the Chicago Bulls actually were the number 1 overall seed because they tied San Antonio, but they beat them head-to-head in 1 game because of the strike-shortened year. But because Derrick Rose went down, that was that. They got beat in the first round. Miami ended up winning the championship. 2013, Miami as the best record team overall, number 1 seed, won the championship. There you go, LeBron. You got 1 out of 3. Great job, man. 2014, San Antonio, overall number 1, won it. 2015, Golden State, overall number 1, won it. 2016, it was Golden State again, but we all know what happened with the injuries, the suspension, all that. They lost in 7 to Cleveland. 17, Golden State was the number 1 overall team. They won. 2018, it was Houston. Chris Paul gets hurt. There goes their chances. Golden State wins it. 2019 and 2020, Milwaukee, the overall number 1 seed. Toronto in 2019, the Lakers in 2020. Lakers didn't have to play the Clippers, didn't have to play the Bucks. Nice for them. 21, Utah Jazz were the number 1 overall seed. That's still just shake my head every time I see that. Like, wow, they were the number 1 overall seed. They got beat in the semifinals to the Clippers. Milwaukee won the championship. In 2022, Phoenix, 64-18, the number 1 overall seed, got beat in the semifinals. Like, what's going on? All these teams getting beat early with the best record. Golden State won the championship in 22. 2023, Milwaukee. That's the 3rd time that Giannis Antetokounmpo has had the number 1 overall seed. He did it in 2019, 2020, and 2023. And people talk about, oh, he needs more help. How much more help do you need? You won the championship in 2021. You had the number 1 overall seed in 2019, 2020, 2023. What more do you need? This is what I don't understand. People just gloss over this stuff because it's not full of Hall of Famers. Well, this last season, Nikola Jokic can be a top 100 player, right? Russell Westbrook's a top 100 player. Surely nobody on OKC other than SGA is going to be one. So they had 2 over 1, right? So the advantage should have went to Denver. That's how dumb people like Shannon Sharp are and Nick Wright. 2024, Boston, the number 1 overall seed, they won. And 2025, OKC, the number 1 overall seed, they won. In the last 53 seasons, 20 times, the number 1 overall seed won the championship. That's a fact. Look it up. 20 out of 53. So that's like 30-some%. It's more common for the number 1 overall seed to not win the championship. And something I found very interesting is the number 1 overall seed, they made the finals 26 out of 53 times, slightly less than half the time. So in my mind, teams like Boston in the 80s. Now granted, Boston had the number 1 overall seed 6 times in the 80s. They did win 3 championships though, but they did leave 3 on the table, but it seems like it's not really that uncommon. The Lakers went back-to-back in 87 and 88. The Bulls in 92, 6 and 7, all 3 times, 3 for 3. See, Magic left one on the table in 1990. He had the best overall record in 1990. They got beat. Almost every superstar it happened to. I think Kobe only had 1, and that was in 2000. He was always like 1 or 2 games under whoever the better team was. Kobe was 1 for 1. Jordan's 3 for 3. But LeBron James is 1 for 3. He had the number 1 seed 3 times. 1 championship. I think it matters and it says something if a team can go all year with the best record, number 1 overall seed, carry that into the playoffs all the way to a championship. It's hard to do. OKC had to go through 2 7-game series in this last season. Boston in 24 had the most amazing, easy cakewalk to get to the championship. It was just a piece of cake. But all the other teams from 2018 through 2023, none of them could do it. It's hard. It's not easy to maintain that focus and that hunger and all that. It is not easy to do. So I say LeBron is nowhere near the winner that Michael Jordan is. If he was, he would have won in 2009 and 2010. And if you're still not convinced, then what happened in 2011? The number 1 net-rated team with a 2-1 lead in the finals, and you get beat. How much more do you need to see? That this guy is just not the winner like some of these other guys are. He cannot sustain that level of winning. He just can't. Those other championships in 2020, 2016, yeah, load managing. Having the championship in what, October? What a joke. That's when the season's supposed to start. And you're over here playing in the finals in October. Okay. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content. And that's it. Until next time.